Howdy, y'all.
Hi, guys.
It's Ryan.
And Angela.
From RNA Music.
Dun, dun.
Your favorite mom and pop guitar shop music. You got a black one on.
I know.
We're going to go have black RNA
Boo,
shirts
boo,
on.
boo.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
That's right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy new decade. It's the 20s. Are you welcome to the 20s, Angela?
Welcome to the 20s.
I feel 20 all over again.
I know. It's weird.
It's super strange. My chair is extra squeaky. All right, it's Ask RNA, the first Ask RNA of the year, of the decade, 2020.
Yay.
And yeah, we're going to answer y'all's questions. So excited. Let's do this. First question from our friend Chris in the England Shire. Just Spinal Guitar. Excellent final RNA of 2019. That was last week. I've never heard of Texas fox squirrel before. That is so cool. I'm definitely concerned about the Texas wildlife and their arsenal. I need to know how to survive out there in the big old state. Hashtag KTMA. Hashtag Brown Sound 2020. New questions. 1. If you had to do something else other than your current business from 2020 onwards, what would it be? 2.
Goodness.
Do you like Spinal Tap? 3. Have your pets ever gotten into a fight with some local wildlife there?
Ooh,
More
good
animal
question.
questions? Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1, if you had to do something else other than our current business from 2020 onward, what would it be? Go, Angela.
I would choose public speaking.
Ah.
Yeah, because I like doing that. I would be a public speaker encourager.
Motivational
speaker. Yeah.
I would open a taco shack.
Or that, or a food truck. That would be awesome.
Actually, no, I don't want to do that. We've been in the food business before.
A food truck would be different. I think that would be easier than what we did. Because what we did wasn't necessarily very consistent, and a food truck would be very consistent.
It would be more consistent.
And more compact, so it wouldn't be so brutal when it comes to, loading chairs and tables and unloading things. It would just be right there, and you just drive where you want and park. So food truck.
Motivational speaker.
A motivational food truck speaker owner.
Okay, good. I don't know what I would do.
You know.
I think I would be a professional beard grower, Instagram influencer, and have my own line of beard products and propaganda.
Propaganda.
Because
Products.
Marketing. Marketing, propaganda, it's the same thing.
Propaganda has such a negative connotation to it.
It does, but only because people have used it for evil.
Evil.
Right? I would use my propaganda for good.
Yes.
To make people buy my stuff.
Like your Death Star.
My Death Star. I would only use my Death Star for good purposes. I would only wipe out evil people who I am the only one who decides who is evil.
Oh.
I don't know. I've done so many things in my life up to this point before RNA music. None of it I really want to go back to.
Right. I would like to open up a movie theater. Or run a movie theater.
Run a movie theater.
That would be fun. Like, own and operate. A small. Like an old school.
Oh, yeah.
Where it played, like, classic movies.
Not a big megaplex, but like a legit.
No, like a legit. With like a cute little snack stand and popcorn maker. And like all the chairs are like couches and like love seats and house chairs and stuff like that.
What could go wrong?
I mean, like just like any other theater, especially now that they have the reclining chairs and stuff.
Reclining.
But I would love to have like a small, intimate theater that only sat like 50 people. You know,
high-end boutique small theater.
Yeah, that played only movies from like the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Only good movies.
Yeah, like classics
with tons of atmosphere and great service, so people would want to come.
Yeah,
it's like going to an escape room.
Yeah,
except you're watching a great movie from the
Someone's
old
gonna
days.
steal my idea.
You shouldn't have said it. Dang it.
That gum, Chris.
Yeah.
That might be actually a really good plan.
It's actually a pretty good idea. RNA theaters coming soon.
Yeah.
To one place near us.
Because, like every hour and a half, because movies from the 40s, 50s, and 60s aren't that long.
Right.
Unless you play like Ben-Hur or Gone with the Wind, The
Ten Commandments.
The Ten Commandments, which would be awesome to see on a bigger screen.
Yeah.
And hearing the flicker of the, the projector. And
it would have to be fake. Do it digitally. It wouldn't be a real one.
No, because
that's too much work.
That's way too much work. And most of the stuff from back then is
it wouldn't work anymore.
It's too
it breaks down.
Yeah. But
we would have the sound going of the flickering.
Yes.
That's a good idea. Oh man. Great question, man. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I would want to do other than what I'm doing now. Let's see. Number 2. Do you like Spinal Tap? I'm not a big,
I don't think I've ever watched the whole movie.
Yeah. I've watched big chunks of it. I don't know if I've sat and watched through the whole thing.
Mm-mm. The one part I do remember is whenever they're at this party, like an after-show party or something, and there's all these people walking around, and Fran Drescher is on it. Like, she walks up and talks to them. And I remember, like, oh my gosh, that's the nanny. Like, that's when I watched it, because I had that.
It was later.
Yeah. Because that's not anything that my parents would have been like, you have to watch this. It's such a classic. My parents were not like that at all.
It's not like Princess Bride classic.
No, but it has the same humor. It's the same humor.
Director.
Yeah, same
guy who directed.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Meathead.
Meathead?
Yeah, from All in the Family.
Oh.
It's the same guy.
Whatever his name is. It's alright, but it's not one. Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time I even watched. It must have come on TV somewhere. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, it's Spinal Tap. Now, I do have the Guitar World magazine where they're on the cover of it from back in the 90s, which is pretty funny. And that was the first time I ever knew anything about Spinal Tap. I was like, who's these Spinal Tap guys?
Yeah.
On the cover of Guitar World magazine.
It's a great name.
And they had articles, like it was interviews, like it was a real...
Yeah, like they interviewed the band.
Yeah. And I was like, huh. Okay, I'm like, isn't that the guy from Lenny and Squiggy?
From Laverne and Shirley? Yeah.
Why is he in a band?
Because it's like Frank Marshall type movies. They were all part of the same family.
Yeah.
Which, I didn't realize this, but Frank Marshall he produced Indiana Jones.
Really?
And Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Nice.
Yeah, Frank Marshall.
We just watched that the other night.
It was like George Lucas, Frank Marshall. I was like, what?
Frank Marshall. And
then it was like Steven Spielberg. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that.
Indiana Jones.
Never paid attention, but anyways.
And third, final question from Just Fun Guitar. Have your pets ever gotten into a fight with some local wildlife? Recently?
Never ever have they been into a fight with local wildlife.
Rexy got into a scrap with a possum.
That's true, but that was
20 years ago.
Have your pets ever? So yeah, that would count.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 17 years ago.
That was a long time ago. Now they didn't actually fight. They were just like yelling at each other, barking. They didn't actually get a hold of it.
Yeah.
Now, when I was a little kid on the farm or on the ranch, I'm pretty sure some of our dogs got into some
tussles,
scraps, and some of our cats lost some battles with bobcats and coyotes. That's not funny, but
I don't know why you
did they get into a fight?
Was so bad.
Sorry, it's like some of our outdoor cats probably got into fights with coyotes and lost.
Yeah. Our dogs,
all of our guineas.
Yeah, our beagle mix. Oh yeah.
To the coyotes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what a guinea is, but it's kind of like a chicken.
It's like a cross between a chicken and a quail.
A chicken and a quail mix, sort of, is a guinea. It's
like a giant quail.
Yes.
But acts like a chicken.
Yes, that's a good description. We had a bunch of guineas on the farm or on the ranch when I was a kid. They all died.
They're like fat, round.
They all died in a coyote fight.
It wasn't really a fight.
It wasn't really a fight. It was just coyotes.
A massacre.
It was just coyotes getting some dinner. Mm-hmm. Hey, you want some chicken and Guinea Express?
Yes. We don't have any restaurants called Guinea Express. But we had 2 beagle mix pups that didn't get into a tussle with one, but came really close with an alligator.
Oh, man.
That came up into our front yard.
That would be a short fight.
We had 2 dogs called Mutt and Merle.
Mutt and Merle versus the gator.
Yeah. And we heard them just barking and kicking up dirt and all this stuff, and we come out and you hear this like that gator rattle. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it was a big gator in our yard.
Yeah, I don't think they have wild alligators in England. No. Just roaming around.
But they would go, like, they would just migrate between, because we had a creek really close to us, and they would go down the creek, come out of the creek, and go to the next lake. And they would go lake to lake like that. And so our yard was usually the walk through.
If you come visit us in Texas, you got to watch out for the alligators if you're out walking in the country between lakes and ponds and creeks.
Mm-hmm. Alligators and snakes.
Alligators will mess you up if you get too close to them.
Yeah.
Don't step on
them. And you don't know that they're there because they don't like yell, hiss, or growl at you. They just kind of sit there and breathe heavy.
Heavy breathing intensifies.
But you don't notice. I'd never noticed until it was like you heard their splash, and then it was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, they're waiting for you to come close.
They want you to come closer
so they can grab you by the leg
and drag you into the water.
But come to Texas, it's awesome. Nothing to worry about.
So scary.
Thanks for the question, Just from Guitar. Dude, kind of excited. Next question, Bubba Fang. Questions for the both of you. Sorry to be a little late, but do you have a certain Christmas movie that's a requirement to see? Mm-hmm. Ours is A Christmas Story, Walton's Christmas, National Lampoon, standard cartoons, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He said, happy 10-year anniversary. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We just celebrated 10 years of art and music.
Yes.
20 years of marriage.
Business
anniversary. Mm-hmm. Do we have a certain Christmas movie that's a requirement? Not this last Christmas. We didn't watch.
I did.
I didn't.
Yeah, me and the boys did.
Oh. I must have been busy. Working.
I don't even know.
Or something.
Requirement. Grinch.
Which one?
Jim Carrey's.
Jim Carrey the Grinch.
Jim Carrey the Grinch is always a must.
Return of the King.
What?
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, any Lord of the Rings movie is a must. Even though there's no Christmas celebration at all in any of the movies. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer claymation. We have to watch that. We didn't, but I wanted to. It's usually always a requirement for me to watch Elf. But we were moving my parents, so we never really got to sit down and sit in front of a television that much this past Christmas holiday.
Yeah,
we didn't get to do a lot of traditions that we normally do, like make Christmas cookies and candies. And
it was a bit of an odd Christmas for us this year.
It really was. We had we had ham and all that stuff, but mashed potatoes and all food, but we really didn't get to do like the other fun traditions that we normally did. So it was a little weird, but yeah, Elf, Grinch, Rudolph. I watched Mickey's Christmas Carol, a must. Muppets Christmas Carol. I'll watch that all year round.
Yeah.
But we did watch that. Those are musts. And It's a Wonderful Life was always a tradition in my family. We would all watch it when we spent the night with my grandmother on Christmas Eve. We would watch It's a Wonderful Life as a family and wake up to Christmas next morning.
There you go.
But yeah, did you have childhood?
No. We didn't have like movies we watched every year for Christmas or anything. Not that I remember.
That's weird.
I don't know. We were busy doing stuff, I guess.
Weird people.
Looking at Sears catalogs, looking at toys.
That was a big thing for Christmas. Yeah. Leading up to Christmas.
There you go. Thanks, Bubba Fang. Good question. What are you guys' must watch Christmas movies? Be good to see.
Yeah.
Next question, Jeremy the Surfing Alien.
Nice.
Says, I have a couple of questions. I know you guys don't carry diamond guitars anymore, but would like to know how you feel about the quality and playability, specifically of the Renegade. Are diamond guitars good? I would also like to know which looping pedal is the easiest to use and best looper with highest quality. What's the best looping pedal? What is the best delay pedal? Thank you guys. Hope you and your family had a blessed Christmas. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, the diamond guitars were good. Quality wise,
they're good.
They're pretty good.
We had no really any
complaints. No any quality issues with the diamonds. I did have one come in that had like a blim. It was like a cosmetic blim on the back of the neck, like a little something in the finish, you know. But it wasn't like we didn't have any physical problems. Like no pickup problems, no truss rod problems, no neck problems, no, you know, nothing broken or anything like that. So yeah, quality wise, they were great. One of the things I did like about them was they were very light. Almost all of them, I remember that. Except for the Boleros, are all like extremely light, like not very heavy at all. Which is, if you have shoulder problems or back problems or whatever, you need a light guitar. Those are light.
But it looked like a heavy guitar.
Yeah, and the Renegades is like the SG type looking one, very thin bodies. So yeah, actually the Renegade we had here for a while, I played it every now and then when I threw out my back. I had some back problems, so I'm like, but I started to teach lessons. So I'm like, give me that Renegade. So, because it's like light as a feather. It really was. So quality wise, with the physical guitars themselves, there's no real quality problems. And if you need one that's really light, now if you want a really heavy guitar, that's probably not what you want. But if you want a really light guitar, there you go. Let's see. Which looping pedal is the easiest to use and which one is the best, highest quality? The easiest to use, probably there's like the TC Electronic Ditto looper. It's just one button, very simple. You know, no bells and whistles. It won't do 10 million things. But the super easy to use, right? I've almost got one for myself a couple of times. I stop and I don't, because I have a loop pedal.
Right.
I have a Jam Man. A Jam Man. It's an older one, 2-pedal Jam Man, but I actually have one. Of course, it's real big. The Ditto looper is real small, so that's nice. You can put it on your pedal board. Super easy if you just do one quick loop to practice something. Ditto is great. Jam Man is a bit bigger and more complex. As far as the highest quality, Boss had one. Now I'm sure they still do. I think it was like the RC. That was the RC50. Which one? I can't remember the name of it. For me, back in the day when I worked in a really big store, it was the Jam Man and the Boss loopers were always kind of going head to head, back, neck and neck, back to back, whatever. All over. They were all over each other. On like seeing who could outdo each other with more options. And like there was one Boss loop pedal that had like 4 or 5 pedals. It was just this big, huge thing. Like, how many loops are you gonna make with that thing? You know. So probably the Boss, if they still make that one, is like, you know, more options than you could possibly need. Probably be the highest quality, most bells and whistles. Probably the Jam Man. Although MXR just came out with, or Dunlop just came out with a new loop pedal recently that I'm thinking about getting. We're Dunlop MXR dealers, so I may get that one, because mine Jam Man is just big, and it's big. It's big.
It's bulky.
It works, and it's old.
Yeah. But
it functions. But it's like, you know, it's like 1950s technology. Who wants that? Oh wait, guitar players do. In our tube amps, but and best delay pedal. Oh man, well there's so many out there. Delay pedals.
Sure.
I don't use the best. I just have one that works. Man, that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question. The best, what do you guys think is the best delay pedal? I think the best one is the one that works and the one that you have under your foot. Just make it work. But if money was no object, there's the, what is it Steve's got? Strymon. Strymon makes some crazy delay stuff. Check out the Strymon stuff if you want all fancy. The best, maybe, I don't know. Is the best the most options, or is the best simplest to use? What do you mean by the best? Could be a couple of things. Thanks for the question, Jeremy. I use a flashback. That's what I use right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm gonna upgrade, get rid of my TC Electronic flashback, and do something else. But the flashback for me has worked for a while. The Boss DD, I used to have a DD3, I have a DD6 now. I think there's a DD7. The Boss delays were really good, but those aren't super expensive either. So. Anyway, great question.
I don't know.
Next question. Get your little sippy sip from my cuppy cup when I'm feeling cranky crank. Baby Yoda. All right, next question, Carlos Lamas. What do you believe is the most basic thing or first thing you should learn on a guitar? Chords, scales, strumming patterns. I'm relearning the instrument is why I ask.
Oh, that's
good question. The most basic thing or first thing you should learn. Probably how to get good notes. How to get a good tone. You know, we start off like absolute beginners who's never played the guitar before ever. We start off doing single note things.
String by string.
One note at a time, one finger at a time. Because especially for young beginners, like jumping right into big, like 4-finger chords immediately on your like first lesson, super frustrating.
Can be intimidating.
And difficult. Yeah. And so the first thing we like to do is we talk about holding the guitar, hand positions, and how to like hold down this one, first string, first fret, first finger, and getting a good note. Ding. Yeah. That's not buzzy or muted. Thump, 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 right? So we talk about getting
those noises.
getting a good sound, right? It can be difficult enough to get a good sound and tone quality from a single note versus big chords where you have to like hold down these 4 strings and frets. Oh, and by the way, don't touch these other strings with the other side of your finger and Yeah. Now that's super basic. We start off that being able to do some single note things, one note at a time. It's like playing melodies, basically.
Yeah. And hand position. Proper hand position.
Hand position, holding the pick.
Because that has a lot to do with the proper tone that you're going to get.
Yeah. Technique, right? Because if you're holding the pick weird, it feels natural to me. I'm like, yeah, but it's going to hurt you down the road. And you can't see that far down the road because you're a beginner. You don't know anything.
Right.
But I think this will work. I'm like, I don't know. Why ask somebody who's already been there and done that a long time ago? Whatever. But, wrist position, finger position, like physical technique. Not much different than like if you are sports guys or girls, like if you go to take batting lessons, there's a certain way you grip the bat. There's a certain way you stand. Golf lessons, your stance, your grip, pivot.
And your pivot. And your pivot.
Follow through. Basketball, football, there's a certain way you grip. There's a certain way you grip a football, which is not the same way you would throw a baseball. For a baseball, there's a certain...
Or the way you catch it.
Yeah.
Grounders, pop-ups. Yeah.
Technique, right? And most people get that when it comes to sports. Yeah, I get that.
But when
it comes to music or holding a pick or holding a guitar, playing piano, this doesn't feel right. This feels natural. I'm like, man, holding a bat, playing golf is holding a golf club and getting your stance perfect and doing that does not feel natural.
There's nothing that you do in this natural world that you would mimic.
To do well.
In a golf swing.
Right. So doing things, I think kind of focusing on good physical technique, that will pay off huge dividends. Especially if you've already been playing for a while and you're having to retrain yourself, that is a real challenge because your muscle memory may have already been programmed with suboptimal technique.
Yeah.
Just say that. But that's absolute straight beginner stuff. I think one thing most guitar players should learn, and we may talk about this in a later series or lesson program, is like music fundamentals. Like, what are the names of the notes in your chords? Right? What are the names of the notes you're playing under your fingers? Do you know that? Because guitar players tend to not know that stuff.
Right.
We know shapes, we know patterns, we know grips that we memorize. We know this is a minor bar chord shape. And if I put it here, it's a minor bar chord. I'm like, yeah, but what notes are you playing? I don't know. Versus most other musicians of most other instruments, usually kind of know that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, if I asked a saxophone player to play me a B flat, they're like, they could do it. Or a trumpet player or a piano player, like, hey, where's the D sharp?
Right.
I'm not saying a lot of guitar players don't. There are guitar players who do know that stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But there's a fair few who don't.
Yeah.
You know, all right, there's a C sharp, got one. All right, well, play me two more. And you're like, I have this one. I'm like, well, there's a bunch more. Can you know where those are? No. So basic things are like your basic chords, knowing the names of the notes in your chords, right? Not just the intervals,
right?
The notes. And if
you're speaking guitarese.
Yeah, if you go to the trouble to learn a scale pattern and the finger pattern to that scale, like how much more difficult is it really to learn the names of the notes you're playing in that scale?
Right.
It's not that much more difficult.
Especially if you're playing them and saying them at the same time, just like we would do in a good piano.
Play and say. You know, so I think that stuff is things that are often very much overlooked. I think those are missing ingredients to a lot of guitar players. Yes, learn as many chords as you can. Yes, learn major, minor scales, pentatonic scales. Yes, strumming patterns are very important. But how you go about doing it, start simple and then progress. We all want to jump ahead to the awesome stuff,
right?
And not understanding that it's a stair step. You know, you're building building from simple elements to the more complex elements.
Yeah.
You know, learn the basics.
Yeah.
Cover those basics
all the time.
So there you go, and that's something we may do in future RNA music things. I've been thinking a lot about some digital lessons and lesson packs and stuff that I would like to do to share with the rest of the world that are people that come in the store get, but you guys may not get that. So we'll work on that in 2020. Thanks for the question, Carlos. Next question, Walking Dead 1369, hashtag Brown Sound 2020. I'm going to go ahead and throw out a happy and safe new year to everybody here. Ryan, what are your thoughts on headless guitars in general? Personally, I never liked them. Now that The Mandalorian Season 1 has ended, what do you think? All right, two questions.
Headless guitars.
Headless guitars. I've never been a big fan of those necessarily. The Strandbergs look interesting. They kind of appeal to me. I played one once at a guitar show, and I was like, huh, very interesting. But I got a couple of buddies who are big into the Strandbergs. My friend Adam Ironside, who works for D'Addario UK, Adam still has his, I think, his Strandberg. Pat from Australia was big on his Strandbergs for a while. He was all about his Strandbergs. And now he's all about his Ernie Ball Music Man guitars.
Yeah.
So he pivoted away from the headless ones. I mean, they're kind of neat. You know, I think I wanted to buy one because just like everybody else, it's like they became extremely popular, and even now, right, they're still more popular than they've ever been. I'm like, oh man, that's different and unique. Maybe I want one just to have. Just like everybody needs a Telly. Everybody needs a Les Paul style guitar.
Do they though?
Yes. You know, you might need that sound that you can only get from a Strat. Everybody needs a Strat, a Les Paul, and a Telly type guitar. It doesn't have to be actual Gibsons.
But would you buy a headless guitar for yourself?
Probably not.
There you go.
No, because I have too many other guitars in front of that I would rather get than a headless. So
I get you.
I don't know. You know. Now we do have these travel guitars.
Yeah.
They're basically headless guitars.
Yes.
And they're kind of neat for like that purpose of being, you know, a travel guitar. Yeah, it is a little weird to try to tune them, but you know, I don't know that I would go out and buy myself a Strandberg.
You have to kind of lay it in your lap to tune it.
Yeah. And you have to think about
you
it.
You can't wear it. Yeah, and then you have to think backwards and to the top.
It's not as intuitive to tune quickly.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So there you go. The Mandalorian Season 1 has ended. What did I think? What did you think?
It was okay.
Yeah. Tell me what you really think.
It was okay.
It wasn't terrible.
No. It was not terrible. I would never say that. It was watchable, but it wasn't as gripping, or it was slow to me. Way. Because it was
like season 1 of The Walking Dead was slow.
Like, honestly, if they would have taken out all the action sequences of each episode, they could have really just had one episode.
Yeah.
And the rest of it was just watching him ride a bike, or watching him walk, or ride an animal for like 4 or 5 minutes, or staring at someone, or it was just like...
It was a little slow paced for you?
No, I got it. It was okay because I'm a spaghetti western type person. I love old Clint Eastwood movies that were made.
Westerns.
By the Italians that were made. Those were great. I love the music from those westerns, and they used that same style music in The Mandalorian, which was great. Mm-hmm. And I did like that the very last episode had music nods from 4, 5, and 6. Mm. That they pulled it back in, and I like that because I'm thinking, is it going to be spaghetti western music the whole time? That's not Star Wars, like, at all. I want some John freaking Williams. Come on. So, am I excited about the next season?
Yeah, you can take it or leave it.
Yeah, and all these little cameos from people who I really don't like. Like, why are you in this movie? I get it. It's Disney, and you want to get paid. But it was a little much. It was a little too much. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. The parts that were awesome.
Yeah.
Watching him being the Mandalorian was awesome. Watching all the Mandalorians show up in different parts of it, that was awesome. But they needed to get the ball rolling a lot faster. As much as I love Baby Yoda, that whole, it was just too slow for me.
I liked it.
Him and Nicholas liked it a lot.
Me and Nicholas,
they were so excited that it was coming on every Friday. It was their thing. Yeah, which was great.
Me and my oldest were like, he really enjoyed it.
He really enjoyed it, but he's 19.
He's 19 years old, so,
and he still watches cartoons.
Yeah.
So does Ryan.
Shh.
So.
Only good cartoons.
So do I.
I liked it. I did. I kind of feel a little bit, though, like I said this at the very beginning, after the first episode came out, we talked about it. I was like, or maybe I said it to my friend Chris, from Chris Mitchell Guitars, who loves it, thinks it's amazing. Chris is a big Star Wars nerd. But I'm like, is it really the most amazing thing ever, or is it just good? And because a significant portion of the Star Wars fan base absolutely hated The Last Jedi.
This was sad.
And we didn't like Solo. And, we were so mad and angry about, The Last Jedi being terrible, that when this came on, just the fact that it's good makes us feel like it's amazing.
Yes.
Because it's not hot garbage, right? Yeah. Because I don't hate it, it's amazing.
Exactly.
So I think that's the conversation is, I think it's good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching it. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason I wanted to get Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Was just to watch it. It's like, I gotta watch this.
Yeah.
Now she's enjoyed Disney Plus for like all the movies and the Muppets.
The classic stuff that's on there. The Apple Dumpling Gang is on there. Parent Trap is on there. Like Fox and the Hound, like all the old classic stuff from childhood. Even all the Mickey Mouse Club, Babes in Toyland. So
I'm a little unsure. Like, I'm not certain if I think it's amazing, or do I just... Is it amazing? Or do I think it's amazing because it's just good? Or is it just good?
I think because Disney, through Star Wars, has disappointed y'all so much that, like you said, because Last Jedi was such hot garbage, this is like, oh, it's good. Oh my gosh, I'm actually enjoying Star Wars again. This is nice. But honestly, I'd rather watch the cartoon Clone Wars.
That's good.
That was actually, the cartoon Clone Wars is better than this.
I think most hardcore Star Wars fans would probably be okay with that. Yeah. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Or even Star Wars Rebels cartoon.
Yeah.
Had a better storyline.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I want to watch the next season, but I'm like, do we want to keep our Disney Plus until Mandalorian 2 comes out, or cancel it?
I think it's because the Mandalorian, even though it's a great concept, and we liked Boba Fett and we liked the introduction of Jango Fett and all that stuff, he still isn't like Luke, Leia. He's not a Skywalker. He's not a Solo. He's not a Jedi. So I'm not invested in him or his storyline, or do I even care?
But are you invested in the Baby Yoda?
No.
I have enjoyed the Baby Yoda memes.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Those have been funny, but
he's super cute.
I'm honestly, other than the few little, I'm going to spoil it if anybody's
spoilers.
Spoiler warning. No one really, if everybody kind of, if you enjoy like a Yoda type character coming to life, you'll like it. But it's so, it's reaching to me. It really is.
Yeah. There you go, man. What did you think? What do you guys think about the Mando? Let us know. Next question. Jeffrey Egan. Question for the new decade. New decade. Will we have more of that lame digital auto-tune crap music? Or will there be a return to actually playing real instruments and singing in tune on your own? There already seems to be a trend of going back. Tube amps becoming popular again. Records on vinyl, etc. Oh, and I got my RNA t-shirt yesterday, day after Christmas. Yay! Thank you, Jeffrey, for the RNA t-shirt purchase. By the way, if you want an RNA Music t-shirt, description below. You can go get your RNA Music t-shirt from our Teespring store. Ships all over the place. Good stuff. Tube amps becoming popular again. Did they ever... Have they ever been not popular? So I would say I don't think tube amps have ever lost their popularity. I think they've been constantly popular this whole time.
Yeah.
The digital stuff has had a gain in popularity.
And so we see it more.
So, the digital stuff has gotten more popular, but I don't think that the tube has lost its popularity at all. I think probably... You don't think so?
No, I mean, I think... Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I was like, yeah, I think we'll have a return to more human-based music. Because music's cyclical. We went through this in the 80s, right? It was all like synthesizers and, electronica, electronic pop. And yeah, I mean, that happened where it was all that kind of stuff. And then that kind of died out. And then there was a resurgence of like, playing instruments. I think even Clapton, right? So even back then, late 80s or early 90s, he had a resurgence in popularity.
Yeah.
After the death of 80s electronica pop stuff, where he was playing the guitar and made it popular.
But it's always kind of been there, even in old. It wasn't digital. But the sound through an old microphone, the crackly radio sound, people try to recreate that in the 60s. And then you had disco in the 70s with the Commodores and Earth, Wind, and Fire. They put a lot of digital laser light disco stuff back then.
Effects.
Michael Jackson did stuff with effects and digital with his voice and... with Dancing Machine, and then it's always been around. The thrill of it through R&B and rock and just the techno vibe, because tech and disco type music has always been around.
Yeah.
Even from the 20s, whenever they were making sound, that's why the electric guitar gained such popularity, because technically that was techno music. Because it was a technology of that time. Because before they were using banjos and strings and washboards and harmonicas. So it's always been. It's just been ever evolving through time. When now that we have computers and stuff like that, I don't think, as long as we have computers and laptops and digital boards, it's not going to go away.
Oh yeah, the recording, that's not done. Because it's just way easier now to record music using Pro Tools and Logic and like recording things, through a computer versus going back to reel tapes. I don't think that's going to come back because that's just like we said about the movie theater thing. Mm-hmm. It's just too difficult, and there's too many problems and too many things that can go wrong. Mm-hmm. Now I think people playing a real guitar with a microphone in front of it and singing with a microphone, recording, I think that'll come back more, which is it already is.
It is because it always does.
And people can, like with the auto-tune stuff, you can choose to not use that. We can auto-tune this or we can not auto-tune this.
Right.
And I think this even happened with rock, because you think at the end of the '80s, everything was glitzy and glam and super overproduced and just real slick.
I'm so glad that stuff died.
Bon Jovi, all that kind of stuff. And then grunge came out. Well, why do we call it grunge? Because it was more raw. Yeah. And it was not necessarily
normal,
as slickly produced. It was real, gritty sounding. And so I think everything goes in waves. Yeah. So I think the more natural type of music, less processed, it will make a resurgence. Yeah. And then super digital stuff will make a resurgence. Mm-hmm.
It'll always be there.
It'll always ebb and flow.
It'll always be there. And then you'll have somebody who will break the mold of that and do something that everybody across the board will be like, whoa, that was really cool. And then your country music artists are going to take an adaptation from that. Your rock artists are going to take an adaptation from that. And everybody's going to pull off from this one person, just like they did with Michael Jackson, just like they did with Elvis, just like they did with Led Zeppelin, with all these big, major, pivotal monuments in music history. Everybody has peeled off from that and made their own thing. And I think that's what it's always going to be like. One person will come up and just the acoustic guitar type thing, and then people were like, "Ooh, I really like that. Let's peel off from that and become our own thing." And then there'll be so many of them. Everybody's like, "What else? I mean, that looks like everybody else. Let's look at something that no one else is doing." And then it'll be that one person who come up and do something that no one else is doing because everybody's doing whatever this person was doing a minute ago, and they'll peel off from that. And then everybody will be doing that thing, and then like Ryan said, it's just ebbs and flows. But those people are still doing their thing because they'll always have followers and they'll always have all that stuff. But it just won't, be like right up here at our eye level anymore.
There you go, man. It'll be a wild ride of just the same thing repeating itself over and over.
Over and over again since the beginning of everything.
Basically. All right. Next question. 314 J-Rock. Which is more important, talent or social skills? I've seen so many talented musicians who have poor social skills. Even though these people are talented, they're boring to watch. A person can have all the talent in the world, but if they don't know how to interact with people and put on a great performance, they will not become successful. People will always complain about how popular musicians lack talent, but the truth is these people have great social skills. Interesting question. Now, I would say social skills and being a good performer aren't necessarily the same thing.
Right.
Because you can be a great performer and be a huge douchebag. Because there are those people. Yeah. And so that's not the same thing. I don't consider it the same thing.
Right. Because social there's skills. So many that I think are great on camera, but as soon as they pull away from the camera and the lights are off, they turn inward. And they aren't people, if you saw them on the street, because the camera's not on, they don't have to perform for you. They are not very welcoming or nice or, they're not their personality on stage. And a lot of people will say this. They'll say that, no, that's me on stage. Beyonce's the same way. She's Sasha Fierce on stage. But Beyonce at home is very reserved, very quiet, and she doesn't like the limelight at all. She doesn't like the camera on her.
That's why she doesn't have a reality show? Or does she have a reality show?
I don't think she has a reality show. But a lot of people, she loves her fans and stuff like that, but she talks about how awkward it is for her sometimes. So I think a lot of people... I don't think it's separate. I think there's a lot of people who are extremely talented, and there's some people who have disabilities, social disabilities that are, borderline autistic or have Asperger's or something like that they're extremely talented, but we don't know them as a person. We see them as a performer, but that doesn't take away from their talent, that they can't shake a hand They don't like shaking people's hands because they're germaphobes, or
they have a touchy phobia.
Right. Howie Mandel is
don't hug me.
Howie Mandel is an amazing comedian of his time, and him performed hilarious, great on camera. But whenever he is around people socially, he doesn't like to touch them. He doesn't like to be, handled. He doesn't like to be close people's close proximity to them, because it makes him nervous and he comes off as a jerk. But it's because he has a social disorder.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away from his talent.
Yeah. That's a good question.
But
I think the way that you worded that was interesting because, like, again, putting on a great performance doesn't mean you have good social skills.
Yeah.
It just means you're a good actor and you're a good performer.
And I don't think one is more important than the other, because I don't need to interact with them socially.
Yeah.
If they're entertaining, if they're great performers, I'm sure Beethoven was a horrible person.
It sounds like it.
Or even Mozart.
Yeah.
He sounds like a horrible person. I don't think he had really great social skills at all.
He sounds like a super douche.
But we admire and we still listen and draw from his talent, even, 300 years old? 300 years later.
Yeah. Now, it just depends on what you like, and like what I like or what you like or what Angela likes is not what everybody likes. Like, I've watched musicians who were just like playing something crazy difficult, like piano on stage or guitar thing that's highly technical. And like, they're not bouncing around and like, doing all this. They're not, because they're 1,000% focused on this extremely difficult thing that they're playing. And I can watch that and be like,
you're talented.
Oh my God. And mesmerized. And I am entertained by that. Because I understand the level of the complexity of what they're doing. And I'm like, he doesn't have to be doing backflips and posing while he's doing this crazy, difficult thing. Because I understand the difficulty. And, but I'm also entertained by someone who's playing something a little more less complex. But they're really feeling it and moving
Making
into it.
the audience feel pulled in and laugh.
Yeah, and you're engaging with the people while you're doing the thing. And so it's just different strokes for different folks.
It just depends on the person. I was thinking of like Pavarotti. Like, he's supposed to be this big jerk.
Yeah.
Like the opera singer. But he's...
Don Henley has no social skills. Massive douchebag.
Like, horrible person.
But people think he's an amazing entertainer. Don Henley.
Yeah, I'm sure there's tons of people that are like that, though.
Yeah.
And, their talent goes to their head, or they just are very humble people and they don't like to talk. They just want their music and their talent to talk for them. And that should be okay, I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to marry that person.
Yeah.
So I don't need them to treat me right. Yeah. I'm not going to...
I'm not here to be your friend.
I'm not here to invest in a relationship with you.
I just want to be entertained by your music.
I just want to listen to your music. Same thing with Billy Joel. Ryan's like, why do you listen to him? Don't you? He's a jerk. I'm like, I know. But his music encompasses my childhood. And every time I listen to him, I don't think about him personally and what he did to Christy Brinkley and,
what he did to his band members.
I don't think about that. That's not what I remember is singing with my uncle in the kitchen, and having fun with cousins at grandma's house. That's
good memories attached to the music he wrote.
Or watching Bosom Buddies.
He's a douche.
Because the theme song to Bosom Buddies was a Billy Joel song. So, I don't think, and his social skills apparently are horrible, but that doesn't mean he's not a talented person.
Right. And certainly a great
and I don't take away
artist.
The importance of his talent because of his social skills.
Sure. Yeah.
So
there you go. What's more important?
I'll just say you stay over there, and I'll just listen to you on Pandora.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get to know you, and I pray for everybody who comes in contact with you because.
Yeah.
I
think talent itself is overrated because, like you said, they could have all the talent in the world, but they don't know how to interact with people or put on a great performance. They'll not become successful. It's like you can have all the talent in the world and never even play a note. The talent itself is really nothing.
Well, look at Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Horrible singer. Wonderful performer. She was great.
Yeah.
She was a good dancer. She had it all. Beauty, for what she was. and everything, but not very bright social skills wise.
Yeah.
Or she wouldn't have made the choices that she made for herself.
David Lee Roth, great performer, not much talent. Actually, if you think of the top vocalist of all time, David Lee Roth is not in.
We're totally like
he's not even
on people.
He's not even close. Well, yeah, I mean, I think most people, even big Van Halen fans, will say, "No, Dave's not a great singer, but he's an awesome performer." Like, you know, Sammy Hagar's a way better. Yeah, Sammy's a better singer, but he's not a performer like Dave is. Like, yeah, but perfect example, David Lee Roth, great performer, great entertainer, not a lot of talent.
His talent is performance.
That's his talent is performing.
Yes.
And entertaining people. His talent isn't
singing,
vocal
range, and
vocal gymnastics.
Yeah.
Right? And yet you also have people who are supremely talented and not necessarily very flamboyant, who also have a crap load of fans and people love them. So
it's subjective.
Yeah, it's whatever you like. Great discussion though. Great question.
I like that kind of
great
question.
Discussion starter. 314 J Rock. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, really interested to see what everyone else thinks about that. And final question.
Yay!
Big Johnson. Big Johnson with the difficult questions. Yeah, oh my gosh, because we got to teach lessons here in a minute. After the Glarry guitar review, can Angela sand down the guitar and repaint it zombie green? Hashtag Brown Sound 2020. So we talked about maybe doing a Glarry guitar review. Because I'm like, it cannot be that awesome for $65. It's just probably not, but...
And that's okay.
But who knows, you know?
You never know. It might be the best guitar you've ever played.
I doubt it. But for $65, that's pretty cheap. And if we were going to just sand it down, that's what you would want. You wouldn't want to do that to a $150 guitar. I mean, maybe you would. Or a $300 guitar. Maybe you would. But I wouldn't. But for $65, a piece of wood to sand on, that's not too bad.
It's not bad at all.
So maybe. What color is zombie green, though?
It's like I think of like toxic waste green. You know,
rotting flesh green,
I guess.
Gangrene green.
You know, has some bright sections, but also some brown.
Oof. Sounds nasty.
Yes, Miss Jackson.
Zombie green. Maybe we will. We have to wait and see. All right, and that was the last question for this week.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for your questions.
Very quick question.
First, Ask RNA of 2020.
Yeah.
Of this decade. And if you have a question for next week, please type it down below in your comment section.
Hey.
Secret hashtag. I'm drifting again.
Yeah.
Secret hashtag of the day. If you watch this entire video from beginning to end, secret hashtag. Leave it with your comment and your question or whatever. And we will know that you watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just a little thing for us to know who watches the entire video versus just 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever. So, secret hashtag of the day. I think we should do hashtag zombie.
All right.
Hashtag zombie.
Zombie.
If you leave that in your comment, we'll know you watched this whole dang video beginning to end, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for that. We will see you in the next video. Until then, keep the music alive.
Don't forget it.
The music needs you.
And you need the music.
And we need to keep it alive for the next generation of zombies coming up behind us. Arg.
Arg.
See you guys later.